So there is a very specific topic that I want to talk to you about, but I want to give you some background information as to why I want to talk to you about this. So long story short, I was spending the weekend prior at Reros, which is like where my cabin is at, and I have a lot of friends there. And one of the friends that I have there, I have known since I was 5 years old. And she is a part of like what you in the US refer to as like indigenous people, but this is in Norway. You know what I mean? I think I have talked to you about this friend before.
Yeah.
And essentially, I just haven't really known a whole lot about the history of the people that she belongs to. And like, I haven't really known a whole lot of things besides what I was taught in school. I also haven't asked a lot of questions. And this weekend, we spent a lot of time talking about that history, and I got to understand more. And I was like, so ashamed more than anything that I hadn't asked any of these questions before. I've known her my whole life, and I just didn't know any of this. I kind of felt ashamed as a friend. And then I
Mhm.
was like asking myself, like, why haven't I asked her any of these questions before? Because it doesn't really make any sense. I'm very curious. I want to know everything about everyone. So, like, why haven't I asked these questions before? And
Right.
then I was like, because there's a lot of resemblances between what she experiences as a minority in Norway and what you've described to me as like racism. So there's a lot of
Mhm.
like connections there.
A lot of
And
parallels.
yeah, and I think the conclusion I have to why I haven't asked questions, or maybe why like you and I haven't talked about it more, for instance, I think it is because subconsciously I worry that if I ask questions, I acknowledge the difference. And in my head, that translates into like, that makes me a racist.
Interesting.
Isn't that so silly? I'm obviously laughing because as I'm saying it out loud, like, that's freaking ridiculous, Maggie.
No, I think that's like actually a pretty common thing amongst white people in general. Like that whole I don't see color thing, whenever people say it, I'm like, that's racist. If you don't see color, then that means you don't see I'm getting discriminated against.
Whoa, that is such a good way of looking at it. Because I am definitely one of those people who are just like, it's not that I don't see color. Of course, I see color. I'm not color
Yeah.
blind. I can
Yeah.
see that there's a difference. I know we have different backgrounds,
Hmm.
but it doesn't matter to me. I think the reason why I haven't asked so much or made it so such a distinguished difference is because it doesn't really matter to me. But I realize that that doesn't mean I shouldn't know history or like what you've been through or
Hmm.
one of the things like some of the histories of like times when you've been discriminated on. Like, I don't want to be ignorant to it just because it makes me uncomfortable. I think that's what I'm trying to get with here is that like I want us to talk about it because I want to know you more because you're a dear friend of mine. And also like maybe me talking about this will help other people maybe broach this topic if they feel similar to me.
Right. I do think that is a very common thing. And it like comes from such a good place too, because like you're like, I'll just treat them like I treat everyone because they're no different from everyone else. So like I do get it. Like
Yeah.
the idea, the concept is cool, unless you don't actually know anything, you're just avoiding it.
Right, right. And I think there is a slight part of me that has been avoiding it because I I talk about this a lot on my podcast that I'm trying really hard to just like push it away because it doesn't matter that I'm freaking privileged. Like I'm on the top of white privilege, you know. I'm not only white, I'm white from Norway. Like,
Yeah, exactly. You got
so
the A
it's like
plus star.
yes, and it makes me feel such a heavy responsibility to do everything right. And because we are trying to be so proactive or we're trying to be so mindful, we're trying to be so cautious and like not step on anyone's toes. And then like right before we went on this call, I was scrolling and there was this woman, she had written like a really thorough article about throwing out the N-word and the harms around it. And it was so well written, and I was like, "Oh my gosh! I wonder what the comment section says. What the comment section looks like because this was so well written. Like I was kind of expecting like a change here or like a applause or something good.
Hmm.
There was so much hate in the comment section. I cannot fathom how much hate it was in the comment section. I was distraught because I'm like we're in Norway. We're supposed to know better. Like we're
Right.
supposed to be so far ahead of this. And it's so clear to me that we're just pretending to be. And I don't want to pretend to be. That was a very
Right.
long way of saying this is what I want to talk about.
No, it's a good topic, and I think it could be very impactful for a lot of people. Like, because like I said, I feel like a lot of people feel like you. They're like, I'm not racist, and I don't want to like treat them differently.
Mhm.
And that's not what you're doing by acknowledging it.
Yeah, no, that's nice to hear. But okay, so let's talk about it. But I don't even know what to ask. Like, what's because I mean, based on what I know about you when it comes to like your upbringing and stuff, like I know
Mhm.
that you were traveling a lot. I know that you have a lot of sisters. I know that your parents are together, right? I'm pretty sure they're together.
No,
They're not
no, they're
together. Oh
not.
my gosh. Oh, okay. So
No, it's
yeah.
cool.
Tell me
And
about
it's not
yourself,
stuff I.
Darren.
No, it's cool. It is not something I like just bring up to everybody because like I feel like a lot of people do get uncomfortable with these conversations. I don't feel like you would be one of those people, but I don't want to be like, "Hey, Maggie's cool. Let me just trauma dump."
Please
Not
do
that it was
though.
particular, not that it was traumatic or anything. I had like a
Yeah.
pretty a better than average upbringing for most Black people in America. Like I grew up in a pretty middle class neighborhood, which is like not common because like I would say in the fifth grade when I moved to Inglewood, which is where I spent the majority of my childhood. Uh, the neighborhood was probably like 80% Black people and like 25% Hispanic and maybe 5% Southeast Asian.
Mm,
So it was like
very
all
diverse.
all Black and brown.
Yeah.
And what was unique about this neighborhood is there was a lot of single family homes that are owned by the Black people, and a lot of Black owned businesses as well. So this like uh, to me growing up, I had like the same experience as white people, but in a Black neighborhood. So I've always felt like just American. It
Mm,
wasn't, and on top of that, my dad was in the military. So we traveled a little bit. That's the traveling you're talking about.
yeah.
Um, and he was very adamant that I was first raised on Black culture. So I didn't have exposure to lot of white stuff until I was 18 years old and I like moved out of my house.
Oh wow.
So like to me, being Black is a normal and being white is a weird thing. So like
Got you. That's funny.
yeah. So I that's why I have so much empathy for white people because I'm like, I get what you're saying, because that's kind of how I feel about you.
Wow, wow, that's funny. But I think, oh my gosh, and then okay, it's kind of scary to say this too, but I mean I mean it. So I think what I love about you the most is that you have never played any victim part. Like you don't
Yeah,
strike me as a victim in the way you approach like yeah, everything essentially. And I
right.
think that's nice. It's kind of a breath of fresh air a little bit because I don't know how to show up for someone who treats it like a victimhood, if that makes sense, because
Yeah.
it really is not my problem. So, but somehow I feel responsible.
Right. You're not even from America.
Yes.
You don't have any vested interest in this. But
Yes.
the part of the reason why I feel that way is just because, like I said, my dad was in the military. His father died when he was very young, so he just that was the only opportunity he had to leave from Central Texas, which is where he grew up.
Okay.
Um, so I think a lot of his fatherhood tactics came from military. He was in the Marines, and their like main mindset is there's no failing. There's just innovation, basically. Like
Okay.
you can think of a way to get out of any situation if you put your mind to it. So that was a principles I was raised on. It was explicitly told to me like, "Hey, you're Black. There's going to be prejudice, so you have to work twice as hard as a white person to get half the opportunities." So
Oh
this is
wow.
just a mindset I grew up with. Like I knew what it is, and it's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but I mean, I'm not going to be able to change it as an individual. All I can do is live my life. So I just do what I do.
Yeah.
Um, with that being said, like I am a little bit more privileged than most people. Like I was a pretty decent athlete, so I was in a lot of the mix that most people were in, like gangs and stuff. If there was something crazy going on, people were like, "Hey, you should get out of here right now." So I like started a lot of the mm, friction that most people do, and this is pretty common in the Black community. I find like if you're if you excel at something, they will like kind of push you to the side, which is, I don't know, it's kind of interesting because like you kind of get excluded from your own community, but you get protected from it as well. So
Right.
that's a interesting dynamic in the Black community that I don't think a lot of people have exposure to, but that's like kind of why I'm so self-sufficient, I would say, why I don't have a victim mentality.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, so all those factors kind of go into why I don't really project that energy. And also, like I mentioned, like I was in a neighborhood that had a lot of successful Black people, so it was never in my mind like there's no way you can succeed. Like I saw people with
Right.
nice ass houses. There's Bentleys parked on my street. I was like, I guess it's not impossible.
Right. I mean, it's nice to have evidence, right? It's nice to kind of
Yeah,
have, like, you grew up in a community where it was inevitable or undeniable that if you work hard for something, you'll accomplish it. You
yeah,
saw it with your
yeah,
own eyes. So that helps, I
exactly.
suppose. Like, um, simply because I just feel like I don't know a lot about it. And I mean, I guess, and I should maybe not expect that you do either, but if you do, can you tell me a little bit more about, like, because I hear a lot of people talk about like systematic racism, and I think I to some extent understand what that means with when it
Hmm.
comes to like how you kind of experience opportunities differently. But I think that
Hmm.
there's such a deeper story there as to what the systematic racism in the US, particularly though, is really about, or what it
Right.
really is.
Um, that's a really deep question. I'll try to like give a broad, overarching kind of overview of it. Uh, basically is all like stems from like slavery. That was like a messy process that ended, but only got halfway completed.
Okay.
So
What does that even mean? Like, what does
okay,
that mean? Yeah.
yeah, I'll explain that in short if I can. Basically, Abraham Lincoln Civil War. Abraham Lincoln was an abolitionist or something to that extent. He didn't want slavery. And we fought the Civil War. We ended slavery. But Abraham Lincoln, being the fair-minded person he was, he chose for his vice president like a Southern leader who was, the opposite side,
Hmm.
and then he got assassinated.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
So, like a couple years after we ended slavery, and we're in the process of like changing all the rules that basically made Black people second-class citizens, decide that one of Black people would be second-class citizens came into power. So, like, they changed everything immediately back.
Oh my gosh. I had
Yeah,
no idea. What the
yeah,
heck? Okay. That
yeah. So
brings
that's a
some
big
perspective.
factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why there's all these like weird laws that are like anti-black, even though slavery ended through a war. You would think like it ended and they're free and they got their freedom and they can. No, that's not what happened. Basically, it just got like a sheet pulled over it. Long story short, there's all these laws that basically in the modern day show its form in privatized prison system.
Okay.
Um, where essentially the laws prevent slavery unless you're incarcerated. And what point you can be like used as slave labor, essentially not fully slave. They give you like 10 cents an hour or something like that.
Okay. Wow. Generous.
um, that's still right. You're in prison. Don't spend it all in one place.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
um, so I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's something like very minuscule. And yeah, this is relevant because this is why you see so many Black people that are like incarcerated, and Black communities are over policed. It's like a multifaceted kind of thing. Like the big chunk in the middle that I skipped in between the policing system and Abraham Lincoln.
Hmm.
That is where Black people lose opportunities to gain wealth. So we're basically in many cases like impoverished, and I think any logical person can understand an impoverished person turning to crime to kind of make ends meet.
Whoa.
Um, That's very, very common. So we have a situation where people don't have opportunity to provide through legal means, and they only have a opportunity to provide through illegal means. And then you over police that area, then you create an environment where you can just enslave people, essentially.
Right. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Um,
I mean, we know that's true because we see it. It's like it's in the US. I know that happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So more or less, that's. I forgot the exact question you asked, but I believe that was the point I was trying to get to.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel like you're answering the question. I was asking around systematic racism and kind of what that looks
Yeah,
like. Yeah.
yeah,
Because I mean, yeah, the prisons are one way. I do remember reading maybe it was a school. I do have an image in my head where there's also such a difference between what opportunities you get to education just because of
yeah.
yeah, I don't really know why. I was
That
gonna
ties
say
into it.
yeah.
So I've mentioned that like Black communities are impoverished more often than not. I think it's usually.
What does that mean
And
actually? I don't know what impoverished
improv
means.
impoverished like they're just poor.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
My gosh.
like they're in poverty.
Yeah, got you.
Um,
I think I thought you said a different word, but it's whatever. I
no,
digress.
yeah, it's cool. That ties into the education system because educational funding is tied into performance and income for each neighborhood.
Hmm.
So if you don't have any money, then you're not going to perform because you can't like afford pencils and paper.
Wow.
Um, and then they don't give you money so you can learn. And then it's like an endless loop where like
Right.
it's like decreasing value.
Yeah. Is that also still the case in the US, you would say?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
Yep. So the
Oh.
case for me was like usually especially in Inglewood because I mentioned as a middle class neighborhood, but it's black. I
Mhm.
mean, it's middle class in
It's
that
also California.
it is California. So
Yeah.
there's like a lot more opportunity in California, which
Right.
is yeah. Um I'd say it's middle class because there's like some pretty wealthy people, middle class people, and then poor people. So like there's like a broad spectrum
Right.
of incomes. So I got to see kind of like the whole thing.
Hmm.
From my perspective, I was just above poverty. So I was like kind of poor, but not poor poor. Um what usually happened in my neighborhood is if you were good at something, you were like a really excellent musician or athlete, you just left Inglewood and went to some local rich neighborhood that had less black people
Hmm.
because there's a lot more poor people in Inglewood than there are rich people, but it all balances out essentially. Or when I grew up there, I think now it's pretty wealthy. They have the Rams Stadium and the Clipper Stadium there now, so the
Oh,
neighbors come up quite a bit.
got you. Wow.
Um, but yeah, I forgot the question. Can you remind me?
You're fine. I mean, I'm also fine just kind of drifting off and talking into
Gotcha,
different
gotcha.
directions. We don't really
Okay,
have to stay so much on that specific topic. I'm mostly just curious to understand what I don't already know and why
right.
it's like that. Um, so okay, I guess my trigger brain in the sense that I want to like tie it to some sort of like psychology because that's just where I like to go.
Yeah.
Can't help but want to ask like kind of since I already brought up the topic of like victimhood, and I just wonder to what extent is it also oh no, this makes me seem so white. Um like not well, for lack of a better word, like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, you do talk about it as systematic, right? So that it is this endless loop. But then there's always like exceptions to every rule, right? There's always this
Hmm.
exception where someone really came out of it, grew out of it, and like kind of used it as fuel to get to somewhere extremely elevated, right? Like you
Hmm.
have the Kevin Harts of the world, for instance, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and there's plenty of examples like that. But yeah, do you think that exists, or is that just incredibly prejudiced for me to even believe?
A self-fulfilling prophecy.
Or just
To a
that,
certain
like,
extent. Well,
yeah,
how much does self-agency come into it? Like, how much of it is just
how much is
it
that a
being
part of the
told to you?
solution?
I think it kind of goes hand in hand. But at the end of the day, I think it's more of a resource thing. Like you can only hope to do better so much before you need the resources to actually be able to do better. Of
Right.
course, there's always going to be instances where there's an exception, someone makes it through. Like I said, myself, I'm one of those instances, like where the community is just like, "Hey, you're the one that's going to make it." I was like, "I guess if you say so." I mean, I'm not going to say no, but
That's nice.
but like they just use the resources to get me out. They didn't have the resources to get everyone out there. Like we can spend the resources on you. You'll probably do well with it. So that's
Right.
kind of what I'm saying. Like Kevin Hart, obviously, was someone who his neighborhood was like, we only have enough for one person to get out of here. We're putting it into you. So it kind
Yeah.
of goes hand in hand. If
I
you have the
guess.
mentality,
Yeah.
you'll be supported with the few resources we have. But I mean, it would be better if we could just support everyone.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, of course, and that was just equal in any community in the US, like regardless, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't that the desire anywhere? Um, but yeah, I think I've been curious to, because I mean, it's triggering, right? It's triggering to suggest that like you have agency. It's like,
It is.
yeah. So especially when people don't want to hear that. I mean, it's very often easier to blame something or someone, but that's not going to change the reality either, though. Like, there's also this part of me that wants to push on being like, well, yeah, you can submit to what this is, or you can like accept the reality for what it is and use it as fuel,
Mhm.
like I mentioned earlier, which it also I mean, it kind of sounds like you didn't have to do that because of the community that you had around you, but not everyone is going to be fortunate to have a good community
Exactly.
around them.
I
So,
think that's where a lot of it's kind of interesting. I think that's the motivation for a lot of actually like the rap and hip hop community. They're
mm,
like, I don't have anything but my words, and I'm gonna make that work for me. Like it's the only resource I have is to be able to like put these words together.
yeah,
Um,
that's a good point.
so I think it's very prevalent. It's like really kind of, kind of by accident just explained like a lot of the reason why black people are so prevalent in entertainment. Like if all you have is your own self as a product, you can't like you have the resources to get a computer to make a website. You have
Yeah.
the money to start a business, or you don't have the ability to borrow from a bank or anything because of prejudice. Like
Mm,
literally all you have is yourself.
yeah. Yeah. Is that also like still the case in the US that like you can't go to the bank and get the same benefits as a white person?
It's not like as in your face, but basically, yeah.
Oh,
I think there's been some recent studies where like homeowners, black and white, or they had a study where they had a house, they had a home appraisal person come in with like family photos of a white family,
mhm.
and it was the certain price, and they had a different appraiser come into the same house with photos of black family. It was like significantly lower.
Oh,
So
wow.
like it's lots of different stuff like this where like yeah we're in the game but we're not getting the same points.
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Because I mean, I'm definitely led to believe that the US is definitely up and coming when it comes to this. Like that, it's not as much of a problem anymore. Like we see more like division in companies. We see it more on TV. We see it more, yeah, anywhere really. We just see it more, and I think
Yeah,
that's why we're led to believe that it's not still an issue, but it really clearly is, though.
yeah, I mean, mm, hard to say. I mean, it's getting better in some ways. Like there's more people that are getting out there, but I mean, like 13% of the American population is black, and there's not like 13% of like black leadership,
Right.
or ownership, or the numbers are just off. They're not even.
Right. No, I hear you. I hear
Like
you.
there's some people with some black people in spaces that there were not before, and that's cool. That's progress in some ways, but it's not
Mhm.
like where it should be.
No, of course, I understand that. It does
Yeah.
seem, yeah, it's more of a like a progress thing, and I feel like 2020 must have been a huge part of that too, because of the Black Lives Matter and everything. It's just like really honing on focusing on it. But then it's just so surprising to me get to again like the backlash even that gets like no, you can't just focus solely on this group. All lives matter. Like it's like you're always gonna have your all lives matter people.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, as a white people, like as a white person, like often you think that, but it doesn't mean that I don't recognize why it has to be Black Lives Matter. Of course I recognize
Yeah.
why. And I'm
Yeah.
also not offended by it, like even a little bit. It's like there's no part
Right.
of me that's like, why not everyone?
Right. Yeah. I've always found that to be a like really interesting like counter argument. Like, uh, I try to be as apolitical as possible because I just think politics are kind of like high school drama for adults.
Yeah, but it's
But
so like it has so much part in your life. Like I mean, not in the sense that like not even because you wanted to or because you're invested, but because I mean, look at what's happening in the US right now. Like it's still it's so strange. Like it's
uh,
affecting you
I have a
nonetheless, no?
very archaic view that the power is actually in the people, and like the less you focus on, the less power they have. Like they can only they
Touche.
they can't enforce anything if you don't care. Like, yeah, okay, well, that's the rules now. But if no one does anything, like it's that's not the rules.
Yeah, I know, I hear you.
Um,
That's America for you. I forget it. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of dawning on me that like Norway is no better. It is that sense of yeah, it's definitely that sense of prejudice. That's a massive part of it. Also, just like fear of what that means for me. Everyone is selfish and egotistical, so there's always going to be this question of what's in it for me. And we're
of
just
course.
like generally a white culture, so like why all this diversity? Why do we need it? I guess those are questions that a lot of fear-seeking people think, and
Yeah.
especially when you're looking out for the problem and not the solution. Like, I mean, if you look at the statistics in Norway, like now that a lot of people have higher education, you're not going to find a lot of Norwegians in typical jobs that just make society works, like in a store, for instance, or cleaning jobs at a hospital or anywhere really. Like, all of those roles are now filled by people who seek immigration in Norway. So it's like, and that too is just another kind of, I don't know, like, I mean, well, I mean, they weren't born and raised here. It's an opportunity to come into the country and actually have work here. Of course, it's slightly different than being born and raised, of course.
Right.
But it's still, it goes to show that like we wouldn't exist as a community, like as a society without them. We really need that. We really need immigration.
Hmm.
But then I heard stories of like, for instance, in Norway right now, there's a shortage in nurses, and the nurses are really headstrong, so they demand a lot of money, which as they should. They have incredible responsibility, and therefore, instead of paying their own people more money, they're taking in resources from other countries such as Spain and Portugal, etc., but they're paying them way less.
Oh.
So yeah, it's crazy. I'm shook. Like when, cause I know a lot of people that works in a hospital, and
Hmm.
I also have a friend that asked her friend like, how much do you like? Do you mind if I ask you how much your hourly pays? She just wanted to know. She was curious, and
Hmm.
shocked to realize that it was a significant difference because they were essentially paid like the minimum they would have to be paid. I think it was.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we're no better.
Yeah, that's a very American tactic.
Yeah, and the worst part is that European countries love to hate on the US, but we also copy the behavior like freaking mirrors. So
Yeah.
we're very
Um.
biased.
So this is kind of a more of a immigration question than like that's another way to think about being black in America. We didn't immigrate here. We got brought here against our will. So it's like really awkward.
Wow, that is also such a good point. Yeah. Wow, I didn't even think about it like that. You weren't, and but I mean, of course, a lot of people be, got born because of that, right? So they were
Yeah.
born here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I like kind of how you phrase it. I was like, it's so awkward.
It is. I mean, that's basically like the crux of the problem. I feel like the like very heart and soul of it is like this shit is awkward, bro.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to be here. You don't want us here. We can't go back because we're not from there anymore either.
Right. Oh my
Um,
gosh, that's crazy. Because this is like generations ago.
Yeah.
My
Like
goodness.
I 100% consider myself more American than African. Like that's my genetic lineage, sure, but
Right.
like if you go back far enough, everybody's from Africa. So I mean,
Right. Yeah.
uh, yeah, I have no real connection. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of interesting. On that topic of like not really being African, this is like just a funny thing that like always comes up every year.
Mhm.
Um, white people in Kwanzaa to black people, like I don't even know if you know what Kwanzaa is,
I
but it's like
don't. So that's why you
it's
look at
like
me and
it's
have a
like a
question mark.
yeah. um like Kwanzaa is a black like Christmas type holiday. I
Oh,
honestly don't really know.
okay.
But it's like the way it's marketed is like Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, like Christmas for white people and
Okay.
Hanukkah for Jewish people, then Kwanzaa for black people.
Okay.
But
Got you.
like my grandma's literally older than Kwanzaa. They just made it up in the 60s.
Oh my gosh.
It's not a real thing. So like it's like sounds African and like people like want black people to be like African, but we're not. We're American.
That's ridiculous. Oh my
Mm.
gosh, that's so stupid. I mean,
Yeah.
it definitely creates even more diversity. It causes a
Ex-
gap. Now you're like
yeah.
now you're trying to bridge this gap. And when it's like, why can't we just all celebrate Christmas?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that's just like a funny thing. Like, I had to bring it up because someone recently was like, "Happy Kwanzaa." I was like, I don't do that. I do Christmas like everybody else in America. Don't try to other me, bro.
Exactly. Yeah, don't try to other me. That's a good one. I like that. Don't try to other me. Oh my gosh. This is really interesting. And I mean, it's ridiculous that the world is still like this. Like, are we just gonna go in like an endless loop here? Like in just like
Um,
generations, generations, generations. You know what I mean? In the
the
sense that
thing
like,
is, like, I think it's really just that awkwardness I was talking about. Like, black people don't want to assimilate to white society because we didn't really ask to. Like everyone else who comes to America, they're like, yeah, I'll act white because they wanted to come to America to act like Americans.
mhm.
We're like, bro, we're just here because you guys brought us here. Like, we don't want to do that stuff that you guys are doing. Like,
What do you
this is
want to
like
do?
we
What
like.
does that
I
mean?
mean, we do. Usually it's the opposite of what white people want to do. To be honest, um,
Well, tell me anyways, like enlighten me. What is that?
like I would say to be in a more like academic kind of more academic way to say it is like I don't think black people naturally are very capitalist. Like um, exploiting some sort of system to seek gain. I don't think is really in our systems like that. Like we do it out of necessity because we have to survive here. And I think some people are really good at it. I'm not gonna say like black people aren't good at capitalism or don't want to do capitalism. Of course, there's people who want to and are good at it.
Right.
But generally speaking, I don't think that's our vibe. I think we're more community based. Um, and it's just like, mm,
That's interesting. You know what? That's what my
yeah,
friend said. They are community based. Like, because
yeah,
obviously, well, more in a physical way in the sense that they actually have like reindeers and stuff that they have to like care of, like take care of
hmm,
in various ways. And that is a
yeah,
whole part of their culture. So they were
yeah,
talking about how Sami people are generally way more connected to family, for instance, because
yeah,
they are all working together in seasons throughout the year where they're cooperating on this one task that is mostly related to the reindeers in one way or another.
hmm,
And she was talking about community a lot and how that is such a big part of their culture, and that in Norway, Norwegians are more divided in that sense. Like you don't
yeah,
necessarily like just an example of that is that she was talking about how in Norway, like you have cousin, but then you have third cousin, fourth cousin, fifth cousin, and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, you don't really know them. But they have siblings and then there's cousins, and that's just it. Like it's just cousins. And everyone is kind of a part of the community somehow. Like at least that's kind of what the ideal is, or what
hmm,
that historic purpose was or whatnot. But and I hope I'm paraphrasing that correctly. However,
Right.
that was also something that was common with what she said. They were more community based, but I digress.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I just the past weekend went back home to be with my family for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And every time I go back, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot what it's like to be around black people because like there's so few in San Francisco.
But are you not around black people in San Francisco?
See, that's another thing that's interesting about being black in America, especially in San Francisco. Because I had another friend who kind of basically said the same thing as you. I'm like, there are dark-skinned people in San Francisco, but not all of them are black like how I'm black. Like they may be from Africa, they may be from the Caribbean, they may be mixed. Um, those are all different from just being a black person from America, straight up.
Right. That makes sense. So it's a different culture
Yeah,
nonetheless. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, there's not very many people from America that are of African descent in San Francisco.
Right. That makes
That,
sense.
yeah,
So, well, so what was it like going home? Was it nice?
it was super nice.
Yay.
All my family was around. Got to hang out with both my sisters for the first time in like 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
At the same time, at the same time. So it was like we're all
Yeah, but that's
like
just
that. Yeah,
insane.
I mean, one of them does live in Sweden, so
True. True.
they tend to miss each other. But
Man.
yeah, they brought it together this year. And the experience was just like so much more warmth and playfulness and interaction. Like me and my sister talked about this, like within my family, and this is common in most black households I've witnessed. Like we love to tease each other. Like it's a pretty essential part of the community. Like you're gonna get made fun of. And it's like I feel like it builds a resilience, but also it teaches you how to like, not take everything so seriously. I
Right.
feel like that's something that's like not in European or white culture. Like you guys are very serious all the time.
Oh, well, I will have to interject there and correct you because that's very much how I feel with my family. I mean, I laugh so much with my family right now. And my brothers have definitely been, I was going to say, twisting my balls my whole life. Like, I must say that my brothers were pretty rough with me growing up. For sure. There was no mercy. They really, really raised me in many ways. And like, yeah, till this day, we were laughing a lot together. It's just like a lot of sarcasm and irony. We definitely make fun of each other, but it's very much coming from a loving place. Like there's no question about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but that's my experience. But that still
Right.
doesn't have to represent. I mean, every time I talk to you, you always make it sound like I'm so different from other people. So this is probably just another one of those times where it's like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're different.
Yeah. I think that might be a unique Maggie household experience.
Yeah, it
You
might be.
are a lot more extroverted than most white people in general. I've talked to, I think Europeans are, I mean, not Europeans, Americans are more conversational, but like what I've witnessed in your household is like a lot of times, like issues that should be brought up don't get brought up. And in black household, more often than not, I feel like that thing that needs to get brought up will get brought up in a joke, and then there will be some discussion.
Right.
Maybe not in the moment, but maybe later.
Yeah.
That's just the way my family operates. I can't say that's how all black families operate. But me and my sister have discussed about how not necessarily within the family, because that's just like a community thing for black people. Like, sure, that's how I was with my family, but in a black neighborhood, I could do that with anyone in the neighborhood. I don't think
Right.
that's like the same in the white community. Like
Oh,
if you know
definitely
someone,
not. No, no, no,
yeah,
no. I barely know my neighbor.
yeah.
Correct me. I don't know my neighbor.
You're like, I could recognize them out of a lineup, maybe.
One of a few of them. Some of them, like I had a lot to do when I was younger. Had a lot to do with when I was younger, but now it's like,
Okay,
yeah, barely, barely for sure.
gotcha.
But I don't know them personally, is what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't just walk over there and have a coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah. But So that I must say is still pretty true. But yeah, as a family, I mean, of course, just knowing me, I can't let you go. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I will dwell. And my mom always says, always, that's not true. I heard her say this recently and I thought it was funny as hell. But she said, where other people sweep things under the rug, Maggie, you shake the rug.
Yeah, that's the Maggie I know.
Oh, I love that. That's how
Yeah,
you know me.
yep.
Oh my gosh. Do
Yeah.
you have questions for me at all about the other end of it, or do you feel like you just know white people so well? It's like, dude, I have to deal with you my whole life. I know everything about you.
It is. I mean, since I'm a lot older than 18 now. I'm 38, so it's been 20 years. I've been observing intensely.
Yeah.
So I picked up a lot, but I mean, nothing's coming to mind at this very moment. I have come to a lot of realizations about racism, though, from the opposite end. Just out of curiosity and observation, like how I said about the color blindness thing, but a lot of different things about that. I decide to one day just put myself in the shoes of someone who's the majority and just think about why would I want to give up that power? That's kind of absurd to even think about. Even if you know it exists, you might not acknowledge it just because you're like, "Hey, this shit is working for me."
Yeah.
I think that's a big reason why it continues to propagate. America is such a get it for yourself type of community, or I don't really even want to call it a community environment,
Yeah.
that people are like, I would love to care about you, but I got to pay for all of my shit.
That's such a brutal, but probably dang true. No, I mean, I'd be lying to you if I said that when I was being selected for, when I was in the H-1B lottery, I
Mhm.
100% thought several times, probably even said out loud, that I'm more likely to get it because I'm white, because I'm from Norway. I don't know that I
Mhm.
said white, but I definitely said because I'm from Norway,
Yeah.
because that puts me at a greater advantage. I mean, it wasn't true though. For anyone listening, it took me 3 years to get the damn thing. So, or I guess it was 3 attempts, 2 years. It took me 2 years. It was not as easy as just that, but I definitely thought the thought. I thought I had the
Mhm.
advantage. I
Mhm.
thought my privilege would serve me, and I liked to lean there. Yeah, to be rested assured that it wasn't, but I still thought it for sure.
I mean, it might have played a factor. I know some people definitely have a lot harder of a time because of where they're from. I had a friend who was born in China but raised in London.
Mm.
And because he was born in China, they pretty much instantly denied his visa. They're like, nah, we can't take any of you guys anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, different places it does factor in more. Maybe you just didn't have and that's another thing about systemic racism. It's not necessarily that there's advantages for you. It's just there's not as many barriers.
Right.
So it could still be difficult. It could still take you 3 attempts in 2 years, but you didn't have walls placed in front of it. It could have taken you, 4 attempts in 5 years if you were from a different place, perhaps.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, I don't know how I feel about that because it's like, yeah, I want to be held to account, but how do I even do anything about it?
Oh, that's the thing. It's systemic. There's nothing you can really do as an individual. You would literally have to change the laws of America. And that's a very difficult process because the people who are in charge, those laws benefit them. So
People
that's where it's
suck.
systemic
That's
racism comes in. Yeah, we can all acknowledge it, but we can't do anything. And then the people who can do something, they know it too, and they're benefiting from it. So why would they be like, listen, I know you guys see this, and
yeah.
you know that I'm benefiting from it, and I'm more powerful than you because of it. I'm gonna give you guys the power. Who does that? That would be kind of stupid, right? To do the right thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And that's also such a topic in my life these days because obviously I I mean I pray every day and I read the Bible every day. I really try to be in on the word. And today I was kind of talking about fear and how the kind of the recipe towards fear is actually love. Like the way you show up loving instead of fearing is what will turn the thing around. Because just because you fear something doesn't mean it's true. But if you can learn to love thy neighbor, for instance, or love love others the way you love yourself, you know the drill. There's
Yep.
just such an absence of love, but the fear is really loud.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That is a lot of the cultural environment of America. There's a lot of fear, especially since I feel like there's like really like tipping point when Time had the article where it said in 2050 like most of America would be like mixed race. I
Mm.
think that really triggered a lot of white Americans like that are in these more uh, vulnerable positions. I want to say there's a lot of Americans that aren't white Americans that are not doing well. Um, One such of those people is my friend who's from Cincinnati. We had some discussion. He's white. We've had some discussions about race in America because we attended a protest together, and we just had some deep discussions after it. Asked him about his perspective on racism or white privilege coming from like a predominantly white neighborhood, and he's like, white privilege doesn't really work when you're from the area that's all white. There's no privilege when everyone's the same. If you're poor, then
Right.
you just stay poor. But that's where a lot of racists come from. They're like, white privilege is well because they're from an all white area and they're poor. Um, they're like, I didn't get anything from it, but they're not understanding what I just told you. Like, they don't have the barriers we have. So,
Right,
like,
right,
as a white person, you can really grab your own bootstraps and pull yourself up. You can do something, get a couple
right,
bucks, and then you'll have an opportunity to make more money elsewhere.
right.
Um,
I,
so
I'm thinking about it really like when I was traveling for work. And yeah, I was definitely in a really poor area. But it was, yeah, the majority was white people there. They were definitely
mhm,
poor, but I could totally see them using that logic for sure.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this is where I think a lot of racism stems from, where people feel like these black people were poor and I'm poor too. So like obviously there's no white privilege.
Mm.
So why do they get the excuse that they're black? I don't like them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It is a really good question, but it almost makes it like, well, yeah, but count your blessings though. Like look at what opportunities you yet do have, but might not be taken advantage of.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not the way they view things. I mean, I do feel like
Of course,
racism is
because
more of an IQ thing. Like you
yeah,
just lack the
I was gonna
ability to
say agency.
understand.
Nobody wants to have the responsibility rest in their own actions. God willing, that sucks.
Yeah.
But that's
You mean
true
I
for
can get myself out of this,
you
but
mean
I just
me
didn't?
take accountability
Nah,
and
it was them.
responsibility? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's as if
Um,
when attention is moved elsewhere from their pain and it's suggested that someone else has it worse, the defense mechanism is to be like, yeah, but I have it bad too.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's a defense
Um,
mechanism more than a truth, I think. But yeah, for sure, it exists and it's super visible. It's undeniable, even.
yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, to kind of, I guess, circle back to the immigration thing and how that affects racism and prejudice because of like lower wages. Uh, in America, it's more like illegal immigrants. I assume the immigrants in Norway are illegal,
Yeah.
or mostly.
Yeah.
But the point is, they're like give immigrants lower wages, and that does affect the local population. Because I mean, you're just basically undercutting the people who are doing those jobs.
Hmm.
So that creates resentment as well.
Yeah.
Um,
That makes sense. That would make me mad too.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's where I feel like recently in America, the racism has been like less focused at black people and more towards Hispanic people, which is interesting. But it's for that reason, like they're not necessarily taking jobs, but they are making some jobs cheaper, even though they are essential for society as well.
Hmm.
It's such a mixed bag that like I am not really personally like vested in. so I
Mm.
don't have as much information on. But I do know it contributes to racism for that reason. It's just like for these, like I said, more exposed white communities, it's just another reason for them to put on their hate list.
Yeah.
Uh, the fear that they're going to be the minority, which I think is trending. I think in California, white people already are the minority overall, but it's
I
the
have no
case.
idea. But maybe.
But I think it's going to be a case for America, like trending towards that way. And I think there's a lot of fear and resentment that goes into how people perceive things because of that.
I wonder if that's
Uh,
why Trump's president.
oh, definitely.
They perceive immigrants as the problem right now, and Trump is
Yeah.
trying to solve that problem. Yeah. Systemic.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I shouldn't be
Guys on top are
laughing.
trying to stay on top. I mean, it is kind of hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, because everyone sees it, it's just like only a certain amount of people acknowledge it. You need everyone to acknowledge it so there can be some change.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll laugh at it because there's nothing I can really do about it. Is you? That's another thing about being black. Like, there's so many hardships. It's like you learn to like you either laugh or cry. Like, so you
Right.
learn to make jokes about it because just and do what you can in the situation. Uh, Me personally, because I was chosen by my community to be the one who made it out, I decided to be like somewhat of an emissary. Like, hey, this is what's going on over here. This is how we perceive things. Basically, the conversation we're having now is like why I came to San Francisco. It's like
Yeah.
people who would like to get close to me and know about my background. Tell them the truth, and hopefully they gain a new perspective and understanding and can spread that out, and that'll be my individual effort at helping racism with
Yeah.
understanding, which is the only way I think you can.
Right.
And through acknowledgement, because I told you the awkwardness is real.
The awkwardness is real. That is what it's about. And I think the truth is that, like, I guess we're both kind of awkward because, yeah, somewhat like even me, I'm not even from the US, but somehow I feel guilty. Like
I mean,
it's
you
this
you
underlying
lived
feeling.
here for a while,
Yeah.
so in some way or another, I'm sure you benefited from the racism, or the white privilege, so to speak. Whether you just be walking down the street, I like.
I never
Uh,
counted it in the sense that like I look at what that would be like. But I mean, you mentioned just like walking out at night. I remember walking at like 4 a.m. in the morning from the Mission to Fillmore. And for those who know San Francisco, you have to go kind of past. You don't go through the Tenderloin, but it's touching on it. Well, not so much, but there's definitely some areas there where there are some projects. I think that's what you call it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I never felt unsafe though. Like I just walked straight through all of that, and I think that probably speaks to some of my like not to be fearful of that, or maybe I'm just super stupid and ridiculous and could have
No.
like just because I'm a woman, I guess I could have been weaker for whatever situation, because there's just like a lot of drug abusers there. That does not to say that they're black people, but they're drug abusers nonetheless. But that could be a way in which like I don't recognize that privilege. But I'm sure there's other ways too. I just don't know that that is why, or like that was even a thing. I think I'm blind to it more than anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely, it is a real thing. Being blind to it, because I mean, it's something that you should be blind to. Like the way you're treated is the way everyone should be treated. But it's not true, and it is very hard to see someone else being treated differently than you.
Yeah.
Um, we all do live our individual lives. So I mean, I just happen to be a very observant person. Um, and I've observed a lot of, you know, prejudice, I would say. Um, Not necessarily between you and I or experiences we've had. San Francisco is a very diverse place, so
Hmm. Yeah.
I haven't really experienced too much prejudice. The only prejudice I really experienced here is like classism, like rich
Yeah.
people.
Right.
It's never had anything to do with my like race
Right.
around here.
Right. And I do think that if anything, we've all kind of done a good job of like getting to know each other as individuals, and then kind of not necessarily let anything slide, but just recognize that like they just don't know any better. Kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is also a interesting thing that you just brought up. I try to be more rational in how I approach discussions about racism, or not necessarily rational, but more measured in my approach. Because I feel
Mhm.
like there's like these two extremes of people who like, oh, that's not real. And then like people like on the other side being like, it's super real. Let me get in your face about it. Like, that's intense, bro. Chill out, bro. No,
So
no one wants
real.
to hear anything that intense.
Yeah.
Especially something that like racism. Like, you don't want to be abrasive with something that's already abrasive, you know? So
Yeah.
I try to meet people where they are with it. Like, hey, I know this is what you think it is, but hey, just observe this and then come back to me. If it's the way you thought it was, hey, man, that's the way you're viewing the world. But if it's the
Right.
way I said it was, come back to me. We can talk about more stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's not so accusatory and divisional
Yeah.
in that sense. It's like, hey, I understand that that's what you think now, but
Yeah.
here's a perspective for you that I'm offering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just try to observe it from these shoes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's definitely been a gift and a privilege for me to be able to travel across countries and be intercultural in the sense that I have lived in different cultures, because it definitely broadens your perspective. Like it really
Oh,
does
definitely.
open up your eyes to how limited your worldview is and why, and how we are all, and I repeat myself, a result of what we've ever been exposed to. And if that's just your home country and your community, then that is a very narrow view of how the real world works.
Exactly.
And
Especially if you're from a country that's more like, I would say, an old world country where it's like Norway, where it's like predominantly just Norwegians, you know, or
Mhm.
Japan, where it's mostly just Japanese people. Like,
Right.
you're getting a
Yeah.
very thin slice of the world, unless you're in an international city by chance.
Yeah. No, for sure. And it does help you grow as an individual a lot, just recognizing your own kind of part in the world and what, yeah, your opportunities too. But also to just recognize that like the way that I look at people are so much different now than it was when I first moved. Even the way that I look at Norwegians are different. The way that I look at my family is different. I think everything, and all kind of for good, in the sense that like it taught me something really significant and important. Um, for instance, like coming back to Norway has allowed me to value family more, because when I was in San Francisco, that looked very differently. As much as I had a chosen family and my friends, of course, you being one of them, it is very different building this closer relationship to your family now that you've seen what the world can also look like on the other side of things. And that's not just
Mhm.
America. I've traveled around Asia, I've traveled in Europe, I've lived in Greece, and that's also very different, even as a European country. So there are valuable lessons in moving around and experiencing a lot of different cultures too, because it definitely broadens your perspective of the things that really truly matters. Because I think we're placing a lot
100%.
of value in a lot of weird places.
I agree.
Yeah.
Um, my dad, like, involuntarily quit the Marines because what he told me was he wanted to raise me and they wouldn't let him out. So obviously he put family on like a very high pedestal enough to
Mm.
like leave the American military without honors, and he served in like active war and was wounded. So he like literally was like, "Lucky guys, I'm gonna go raise my son."
Yeah. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so
That's
family
beautiful
is
though. I love that he did that. That's so nice.
I mean, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's nice.
um, so I mean, obviously I have a like very huge emphasis on family because of that. Like his sacrifice to this is also what he told me. Like he had uh okay. When I found out he was in the military, I was like, oh, I want to do that too. And he was like, the only thing he's ever told me not to do was join the military.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
He said I didn't even want to do it, but I was super poor. I had no other opportunity except for like trying to sell drugs with his brother.
Whoa.
Um, Dude, like I could either sell drugs with his older brother or join the Marines, and he chose Marines. And unfortunately, like while he was in service, he happened to be like a sniper, and we started Desert Storm, so he went to that and was wounded.
Oh my gosh.
Uh, yeah, so he came back. I was pretty young and just started like, being conscious of where asking questions and stuff. And I think like when he came back for that, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna miss too much important stuff."
Mm,
And it was very important to him because I mentioned earlier, like his father died when he was like maybe 3 years old, I think.
mm.
So he's like, he knew what it was like to grow up without a dad, regardless if
Oh,
he's living or not. He's just like, I'm just gonna go do it. Um,
that's so. I mean, I can't help but say beautiful, although it's kind of a tragic story in many ways.
yeah,
But I love that that was the conclusion he drew from that situation, and he didn't repeat the pattern. He made an
exactly,
active decision to do the other thing. And I think that's where agency comes in. Agency comes in, and
exactly.
I'm going to choose to do differently, even though this was my past in my generation. I'm going to make a
Yep,
different choice.
exactly.
Oh, I
And
love
I
that.
say all that like it was like beyond that, like the whole point of him joining the military to get the opportunity wasn't even for himself. It was so that he could get to California,
Mm,
so that his offspring wouldn't have to deal with the racism that he dealt with.
yeah.
So I was, and I really didn't like. I've experienced very few racist things, and whenever I have experienced it, it was like so insignificant. I like probably laughed at it.
Mm,
So he really did make huge sacrifices for me to have a like better life than him and be exposed to more cultures than he was. I'm pretty sure where he's from in Central Texas, just black people, white people, and probably he was growing up with a few Hispanic people. I grew up in Los Angeles. I like there's no culture I wasn't exposed to out there.
right.
My individual neighborhood was super black, but like I said, like my community was like you can go out. So I did. I went out and explored everywhere. One of my favorite places to go was Dockweiler State Beach, which I believe in LA is the only beach where you can have like legal bonfires.
Oh,
So I used to go out there, ride my bike. It was probably 4 or 5 miles from where I lived.
mm.
Just ride my bike over the hill, end up at the beach. And everyone loves the beach. Everyone loves bonfires. So I walk up to the bonfire. Hey guys, where are you guys from?
Oh, that's nice.
10 years old.
Yeah. It's a great
You
way to
know,
get to know people. I mean, sometimes you're
it
just gonna
is.
have to put yourself out there and see what happens. That is also a result of fear. If you don't do it, you're afraid of something. But then the
Yep.
fear is winning every time. And it's only true when you let it be, right? So it's
Yep.
like such a note to self wherever you're from and whatever your situation is. It's like sometimes it is up to you and you just have to say no to fear that day.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was saying. Like, it's a hand in hand. Like, the reason why my communities were like, okay, we're gonna invest in this guy is because I had that like I can do it mentality. My
Mm,
mom, they say your inner monologue is like your parents, how they spoke to you when you were like in your developmental years.
mhm,
My mom did not believe in I can't do this, so
mm.
that doesn't exist in my mind. It's how can I figure this out?
Right.
And I've always carried that mentality. I've always seen myself as someone who can achieve things if I put my mind to it. And I
Yeah.
guess that was evident in my youth and the community decided to support that.
I
So
love that.
that's where the agency comes in. If you believe in yourself, the community will support you.
Yeah. I love that. That is such a great place to kind of end this. Mostly because it's almost 10, dude. We both know what that means. And for all of my listeners, we play fantasy football together. Although I am at a huge loss, nothing's gonna happen for me today. There's no miracles in the world that can save me
Yeah,
from
I
getting to the
honestly,
playoffs.
I'm in the same boat. I've been on a big slide and I'm not really excited about what's going on.
Wait, what? You are still making it to the playoffs, dude. Count your blessings.
I am, but
Who are you playing today?
limping. Uh, I think I'm playing. Yeah, someone I'm definitely gonna lose to. I think it's Eric or
No, I'm
maybe
playing Eric. Let me
Michael.
check.
Is it Michael?
Let's see who you're playing. You are, yeah, you're playing Mike. Hey, you're at a
Yeah,
44% chance to win, dude. It can still happen for you.
anything's possible.
I mean, you still have good players, and you have my personal. Oh no, you benched the Lions and they gave you 13 points.
Exactly. That made me so bummed out when I
Oh
checked.
no. But you got my boy Jackson Smith and Jigba. So you're
Hopefully he drops a 50 burger today. Come on, Jackson.
they're
Do
playing
it for me.
Atlanta, which is fucked for me because I have the Atlanta defense, and I.
Ooh.
But I mean, like I said, there's no miracle that's gonna bring me back from this. What I got,
Yeah.
what I'm rested
Well,
assured
there's still
on
the-
is the fact that the
still the-
Seahawks are doing well this year, and that's
Yeah.
my big love.
I mean, there's still the toilet bowl playoffs. As long as you don't come in last.
Yeah, I mean, at least Danny is also projected to lose his game. And hopefully that's still gonna be the case. So yeah. I don't know. I'm playing against Eric, so yeah, I'm at a huge loss. Damn it. Yeah, how's the Niners doing right now?
They continue to win somehow.
Well,
I think they lost last week, but like they're still doing pretty good.
yeah, but not as
Yeah.
good as the Hawks, though.
No, the Hawks are like amazing right now. I thought they were blowing it up last offseason. I was like, what are they doing? Let them cook.
Let them cook, just not with
They've been
Russell.
doing good. They're like, hey, this dude's a bum. We got to get him out of here somehow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But I must say though, because I mean, granted that I had so many Seahawks players on my team, I don't have Jackson, meaning that I'm not doing well. Like
I nabbed him from you. I
he's the
nabbed him from you.
breadwinner.
He really is. He's been going crazy.
I mean, I love it for the Seahawks and for you, but I wish Charbonnet was doing slightly better right now in fantasy.
Yeah.
What is Eric saying? I can say he's saying some shit in the chat. Let's see. Me perched on my number 1 seed spot.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you can see this. No, you can't. Damn it. Whatever. Yeah, he's doing well.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, let me stop the recording here. If you want to come share your version of how your attachment style manifested itself in your love life, please email me on maxmindset@gmail.com. I can't wait to hear from you.